Never be self-entitled. It's the quickest way to kill your chances of doing something big. Remember what the billionaire Charlie Munger says. To get what you want, you have to deserve what you want. The world's not yet a crazy enough place to reward a whole bunch of undeserving people. And in my experience, this is a plague. Everywhere you turn, you're going to find people that think the world owes them something. I'll tell you, if you can get rid of this mentality, it's the quickest way you can accelerate your success, growth as an entrepreneur, a person, whatever you're trying to do. Because what happens is, they've actually done some interesting research on this. By the way, I'm flying home. I've been gone for a month. I've been in the UK, Norway, and now I'm in London. I'm in New York City at JFK Airport here in Queens. My flight was a little bit late there, so taking this moment.
Yo, dude, love your videos.
What's up, man? That looks like I set it up. He said, love your videos, Doc. But what I was going to say, the reason and what scientists have found, they've done studies on people who were very smart as a young child. There's a famous psychologist tracked people for 30 years. I forget, he had a name for, they called them the termites. They were like super genius kids. And what they found is they actually underperformed expectations. There was only one, or I don't know if you know, maybe one Nobel Prize winner. Damn. What's up, man? Oh, hey! How you doing? Here, let me pause this for a second. That was a old friend. I made a friend on jury duty about 3 years ago, Michael, and he's in the fashion business, owns some factories, so he saw me here. But back to what we were talking about. So they tracked this group, they called them the termites, that was their code name. And it was all these childhood geniuses, and 30 years or 20 years, they tracked their success. Whether it be, they would actually turn out, all this intelligence would turn out to be translated into tangible success, like whatever, doctors or millionaires or Nobel Prize winners. And the interesting thing they found is they underperformed the kids who were smart but not super smart in their age group and in their cohort, they call it. And people try to make sense of that. Like, why would these talented kids not turn out to be as successful as it seems their IQ would show, would predict for them? And what they think, nobody knows the exact answer, but one of them is, and I strongly believe this, is that when you're told you're a genius from a little kid, you start to believe your own medicine. And when you start to believe your own medicine, you stop putting in the effort to grow your talent. And that's a version of being self-entitled. So my prediction why the termites are like this is very simple. You tell somebody too long that they're going to be successful, they'll believe their own press. And that's that old cliche. Never read your own press, because then you stop practicing. And that's one form of self-entitlement. I don't even think that's the most dangerous. The most dangerous self-entitlement is what you see right now in the world, where people are like, I wrote, people are violently, and not physically violent, but emotionally violent over saying, I deserve something. I get people every day. I've given away like 6 free Camaros this year to people. Sometimes people will write me and say, give me a car. Well, I don't owe anybody a car. I never won a car in a Snapchat giveaway. But I think it's a sign of the times. This is an Instagram that I posted. It said, in the 1300s, people would complain, I'm dying from the Black Plague. In the 1800s, they'd say, I'm 9 and I work in a factory. In the 1900s, people said, I'm off to fight in a war. In the 2000s, people just go, I'm offended. What are you really offended about? Has the world become so weak-willed that if anything goes wrong, we go, wait a sec, I'm entitled to a world where everything goes right? That reality doesn't exist. I hope things go well for you, but to expect a life with no friction, to expect that you're entitled to that, is to go against every law of biology, every law of competition, every law of economics, and every law of common sense. So I think all of us have to root deep in our psyche and pull out some self-entitlement. There's an interesting test you can take called Hexaco, and it measures your honesty humility factor, which is closely tied in a way to self-entitlement. Like some of the questions are things like, am I a special person or something? Well, everybody's special in their own way, but if everybody in the world's special, then that means you're not special because everybody's special. 7 billion people are all special. And I know what people are trying to say. You're special in your own way, you're unique, whatever, that's great. But in terms of being entitled to something, everybody's entitled to success, right? But shouldn't you give it to the people who put in the work? Or are we saying everybody should be respected for their hard work on the athletics field, soccer, football, basketball, baseball, just because they show up? What about Kobe Bryant, who put in the hours of work and the decades of work? Shouldn't he get a little more credit than somebody who sits on a couch and eats Doritos all day? Like, I hope the world won't get that weak. And so, look in your own life. I got to look in my own, self-examine. You can get rid of self-entitlement really quickly. So leave a comment where you have been a victim of somebody else being self-entitled, or maybe you've been self-entitled. What's a scenario in which you felt it? Because it's nasty when it happens to you. So be sure not to do it to other people.